My name is Kevin Rush, and I'm going to be talking to you about something I'm incredibly passionate about. And first, we're going to do a little exercise. I want everyone to close their eyes. Really close them. I want you to imagine that you're in a cave. Every footfall, a hollowed step. Your hands touch a moss texture. As you step forward into a large cavern, in front of you, you see some movement. Now, you've come a long way into this cave. You came here to rescue a princess that had been stolen. As you step forward, a large, gigantic troll-like creature steps in front of you and roars. You can open your eyes now. We're going to come back to that. Yeah, left you hanging, didn't I? Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm going to talk to you about tabletop role-playing games. Okay. Specifically, by show of hands, who here has ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons? Well, look at this. This is almost everyone. Now, by show of hands, who has played Dungeons and Dragons? Hi, my people. Hello. How are you? Yeah. For the rest of you, you have really missed out. What we just did is the essence of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. For those of you that don't know what it is a group of people, let's say 5, get together and decide they're going to sit around a table. And they're going to pretend to be dwarves and warriors and elves and humans of all kind. Imagine Lord of the Rings, you know that scene in the Fellowship where they're all ready and waiting and fighting. They're going to pretend to do that, and one of the people playing is not going to be part of the group. They're going to be the rules, the judge, the game master. Kind of what I did describing the scene. And in Dungeons and Dragons, what I would ask of you is, what are you going to do next? And some of you might look at that troll, now go back to the cave, and say, I'm going to draw my weapon, and I'm going to charge that troll. Some other of you might go like, I don't want none of that. Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to that troll. Okay? And you might be asking yourself, Kevin, are you telling me that if we practice being fictional heroes, that it's going to relate to the real world? Yeah. That's exactly what I'm telling you. And you might be asking yourself, why? How? Number 1, role-playing is practicing of empathy. Whenever you role-play, the first thing that is asked of you is for you to pretend to be someone else. And not simply pretending, fancifully. You're asked, what are their motivations? How would they behave in strife? How would they behave with other people? So, that sounds a lot like empathy. For a hero, well, in my opinion, they act because they understand the needs of other people outside of themselves. So just by getting to that table and deciding, I'm going to be a dwarf named Grumple Bronzebottom, you are participating in practicing in the idea of empathy. Now, second part, we're going to talk about collaboration. Now, collaboration, the way the game is set up is that you're telling a story together. Let's say you have the luck to one day be at one of my tables. Email me. I might be in charge of the rules and the setting, but I can't control your actions. And when you try to do something, to succeed, we're going to roll the dice to see if it works. But automatically, around that table, you're working together to achieve common goals in a way that's not really done anywhere else. And you're going to be telling a narrative, even if you're not intending it to. So this collaboration, what happens is that you get this beautiful, beautiful story with all these different voices. And then the other part that's about collaboration, and one of my favorite things, is that the game is designed so that you can't be a hero by yourself. Now, this should mimic life. just a little bit. To accomplish great things, we usually have to build a network of other people to support us. So let's simplify that for a little bit, okay? If you're playing the game how it's intended to be played, you might be very strong and smart and charismatic, but you might not be very sneaky or, even wise to understand some things that go around you. You're going to need other people in that party to fill everything out. And so this leads me to my third part, frustration tolerance. Okay. How many of you have ever been frustrated? Yeah. How many of you have been frustrated playing a board game that has nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons? Has anyone ever kicked over a table of Risk or Monopoly? Yeah, I see you. Yeah, thanks. Way to ruin board game night. This is built into games like role-playing. Now, I'm going to specifically talk about Dungeons & Dragons here because it's the system I've played the most. The way everything is decided is a 20-sided dice. You're like, wait a minute. 20 sides to a single dice, that sounds crazy. It is. But there's a 5% chance that every time you roll that dice, you're going to fail terribly. Not just, oh, you messed up. This is a bad failure. Okay, this is, you have a sword, you're about to swing it at your enemies, and you trip on a rock and the sword goes flying to the dark, and you're standing in front of your enemy with no weapons. Great. Fantastic. The game is designed to frustrate you, but that is where the value comes from. And I think anyone here can understand the more you're frustrated and the more you deal with that frustration, the better you become at dealing with it. Okay? Everyone repeat after me. Practice makes perfect. Tell me a place where you can practice being a hero and you can fail terribly, but everything's going to be okay. What was that? Karate? Perfect. That's a great example, okay? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you speak a little louder? Okay, so you're talking physical safety. Yes. A place that has a lot of, soft space. Tabletop role-playing offers that for your mind. You can fail. Your character can perish and die. You don't get back up. You have to make a new character. You have to start back over. This is amazing. It's a game that you can play in your kitchen or dining room or floor of your living room or garage or wherever you have a large table that offers a space where you can practice being a hero every day. Now, some of you are asking, well, that's great and all. What else? Okay, what if I don't like dragons? What if I don't like any of that fantasy stuff? Well, there's a game for you. Do you want to play in a high school where maybe you're playing a Scooby-Doo mystery? There's a game for that. Do you want to play, you're on a starship and you're exploring space? There's a game for that. This isn't just about Dungeons & Dragons. You have been role-playing all of your life. Okay, how many of you have ever been in a training where you go through scenarios? Okay, pretty much most adults will raise their hand on this one. Okay, that is role-playing. Role-playing is simply pretending. And once again, I told you earlier that practice makes perfect, and that's exactly what tabletop role-playing games aim to do. Put you in an environment where you can fail drastically, but you can succeed and you can start kind of pumping that hero muscle. So for those of you that haven't taken the time to play a role-playing game, I urge you to do so and take a little bit of a risk. Now, to close it out, I'm going to tell you a story. Right now, I am running 14 players in a game of Dungeons & Dragons. Okay? And the reason I tell you this is because Dungeons and Dragons and these tabletop role-playing games have a stigma. And often sweaty guys who don't wear deodorant with neck beards and their mom's basement. I was going to say that's not me, but you know. Out of everyone that I play with, out of a group of 14, there are 3 guys, and the rest are females. The age range is between 22 and 39. All but 2 have played before. Okay? And of course, I don't have 14 people in one room. That's crazy. I break them up into smaller groups. You are never too old to play. Tabletop role-playing, any role-playing really, is playing for your mind. It is an ability to not just to pretend, but to practice being a hero, the whole reason that we're here today. So if you're a parent who's never played before, or if you are someone who wants to play who has never played before, or even if you are a professional, tabletop role-playing is now being used as therapy, as team building. It is being used simply as to train social skills, because every moment you're interacting with other people at the table. You can never accomplish anything yourself, and you're gonna have fun. I promise you, you're gonna have fun. And anyone here who has ever played a game of, or wants to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons and comes to me and says, I don't think it's gonna be fun, fine. Email me, I'll set it up. It's that simple. But I thank you for having me. Hopefully next year you'll see me again. But what I want to say, last of all, is you're never too old to play, and tabletop role-playing games are the way to go. Thank you. You have a good day.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.